All right, we have today a guest coming on. Goes by the name Matthew Blade. So he is an actor in L. It's an actor in L.A. I'm done. I can't. What am I doing here? He's an actor in L.A. and he was recently, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I think the movie actually came out. But it's called The Walk, and it's based on I guess a little bit like post-civil rights era. Well, I guess it would be still the era of the civil rights, 1974, during a lot of the. I'll let him explain it, but anyway, so got him coming on today.
Should I pretend that I think that he's on The Walking Dead? And when you keep saying The Walk, I think Walking Dead.
Yes. So be like, yeah. So what was it like to work with all those zombie characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Play really dumb.
All right.
I was watching a little bit of it before this.
Yeah.
It's obviously like more of a low budget film, but it's pretty good. It's definitely a lot different. Like you're watching it more so with you're not watching it for the visual aspect of it. Obviously, it's very simplistic the way it's shot. However, it's like the story and the acting is so far pretty cool. So I can't speak much. I'm only 36 minutes in, so it's no spoilers. But
yeah, you've not hit the climax and then the secondary, whatever the stages of all the movies are. Good.
Oh, yeah.
What? How many rings you got on right now? You get a count?
I got 3. Only 3 today. But and that wristband, I had another bracelet today. Literally just fell off and went everywhere. Beads everywhere in my office. I literally get into work.
Freaking Home Alone when he shreds the beads on the ground. Yeah.
I get into work. I'm just wearing it naturally. I mean, it's an H&M bracelet, so what do you expect? Yeah. I'm just walking, minding my own business, like in the main kitchen area where a lot of people are in the co-working space. Just falls off, just beads all over the place. I'm like, frick. So I tried to play it cool, like whatever, I was just kind of pretending nothing happened.
Yeah.
And one dude, like a guy I know, one of the realtors, he goes, "What was that? Are those what are those, blueberries or something?" Like, no.
Have you ever seen those posts where it's like the most emasculating things you can do is like chase a ping pong ball, like I don't know. There's like a list of things.
Chasing a ping pong ball?
Yeah, it's like if you have to chase down a ping pong ball, it's like one of the most like emasculating things you can do. Think about that.
It is.
You're like running after it, trying to like grab it while it bounces. It's like that is one of them where you're going after a bunch of random beads that have scattered on the ground. Yeah. It's like
it's like not something you want to be doing in front of the people that in your co-working space. So I was just like, it's just like a cheap bracelet. It's whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them. Actually, I'm not even gonna pick them up. Yeah,
does anybody want them?
Yeah.
I think I still have some of the remains in my pocket, actually.
There you go. The remains.
Those fill out too, I guess.
He's got a hole in his pocket. Those just all right out.
Oh, wait. Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
no beads.
No beads anymore.
Not a bead to be found.
So I'll just make something up with this. I don't know.
That's good. Yeah, you should do that. Do that again.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, it's a new fashion thing.
Muy bien.
You're making me nervous, Matthew. What are we doing here?
He's just dragging us along. He's like on a plane right now. He's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
The link's not working.
Like, that's how casually he took this whole thing.
Yeah. Connection is just atrocious. There's nothing. Yeah, he's like, I don't know.
Hey, guys, can't really hear you, so maybe another time. All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Relax.
Watch him just say, "Hey, man, I'm going to have to throw in the towel tonight, man. This is just too much."
I mean, I guarantee we're about to throw in the towel on him.
Literally. Oh, there he is!
Oh, my gosh. It's about time.
Oh!
Wow.
It's a miracle. Oh, my gosh.
Literally, dude. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't working.
definitely some
Yo,
lag.
I was trying everything. Um, wow. Let me have a better setup. I had to like switch to my laptop, um, which, yeah. Anyway,
Do you want to go on your
thanks.
laptop for this?
What's up?
Do you want to go and switch to your laptop?
No, I'm actually on my laptop right now. I was trying
Oh,
my phone, but that wasn't working. And anyway,
well,
we're good. I was just kind of having to move a bunch of stuff around and kind of change my setup because because of just to get everything working. So
are you by chance able to use headphones?
yeah, I do. So this is the thing. It's crazy. All of my tech like stopped working. Like literally, I was like, I have my headphones here, and like, let me just see. I had to turn my Bluetooth off. I tried. I literally pulled out my old Bose headphones because I was like, these AirPods weren't working.
Able
Okay.
to start rolling, but yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad were able to make it though. This is great.
Yeah.
Um, so have you've been on? I think you said you've been on multiple podcasts now over the last few years. Is that right?
Yeah, I have like it's kind of something like this. Like I know some people and they're like, "Hey, we got a podcast. You want to come on?" And so that's kind of how it's been for me,
Yeah.
just random buddies podcasts.
And is
So
anybody using Riverside FM like we use?
no, I can't remember. I don't think I've ever used this tech
Okay.
before.
All right, dude. Well, you're a little blurry, but it's okay. I think I already know what you look like, relatively good enough, so we're
Yeah,
good. But
just
hey,
blame
this is Josh Showalter. He's out in Denver, Colorado. So say what up.
What's
Yo,
up?
nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah. So our podcast, Film Tech, Music and Culture. We talk about those things all the time. And I was like, oh man, there's a Hollywood actor out there that I think I know we could have on who could maybe add some commentary to our conversations. And as well, I would like to hear. I want to hear obviously about what your career has been like so far, the walk, and all that good stuff. So we'll get into a lot tonight. But anyway,
Okay.
so
Cool. Well, thanks so much for having me
yeah.
on, guys. I'm excited to chat with y'all. So,
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, cool. Well, I will say this. I was watching The Walk before you came on today, like literally 30
oh no
minutes ago.
way, no way.
And yeah, dude. And I haven't obviously finished it. I'm 36 minutes in, which means I have not seen your part yet. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah. But I'm very much awaiting it. Josh, you had a question about the walk, right? What was that again?
Yeah. What was it like filming with all like the like zombies and that kind of thing and all that whole vibe? What was that like?
Yeah, man, I got to kill so many zombies. That was the fun part. It was just like they were the slow zombies. Like they weren't the World
Yeah.
War Z zombies that are just terrifying. So it was the slow ones.
Yeah.
No,
Nice. That's good.
yeah.
Before you came on, Josh was like, "Should I just like pretend like I think it's The Walking Dead and not The Walk?"
Honestly, I wouldn't roll with it. I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
I do have a real question though. My actual question is Matthew Blade your actual name or is that a stage name? And if it's a stage name, how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it is not my legal name. No,
Yeah.
I when I was in drama school, I was in my senior year, and my I signed on with this agency, and my manager like heard my real name, and she was like, I don't like it. And this is like kind of a thing she notoriously does. She like notoriously changes all of her actors' names, especially if they're like new signs. And so we ended up going with Matthew Blade, but the story behind that is I was in drama school and I just had this moment with my classmates where I was like, wouldn't it be sick if you named one of your kids like it's like something epic, like Blade. And my classmates were like, yeah, sure, Blade. And so it became this nickname that they just called me Blade to kind of make fun of me. But it stuck. And so I just like my manager was like, what else do you have? I was like, well, man, some people, they call me Blade. And she was like, oh, I love it. We're gonna go with Magic Blade. And I was like, okay. So it is a little like one of the things I've worried about is like, is it kind of on the nose? Like, is it kind of a little like, whoa, a little much? But I've actually started to like it, and so
Yeah.
I'm Matthew Blade now. Here I am.
Dude,
But
there's
Wow.
something about your name, Matt, the Matthew Blade name, obviously. Like it's it fits your personality type to where it's like, yeah, it's like kind of extreme, like Blade, but it's also
yeah,
like if you know your I guess your personality type, it's like you don't take yourself too seriously. So it's I don't know.
right.
It works well, is what I'm trying to say. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
If I took myself seriously, it might be like if I was like really into it, it might be a little like, okay, that's a little much. But
It's like, all right, bro, like
yeah,
no one
yeah,
asked for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like one
yeah,
of
That's
yeah.
the parts
cool.
of acting is like you get humiliated so much that it's like I've lived in
Mm.
so much humiliation that it's like it kind of it evens out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do want to get into more of like the acting and everything, but first just a little bit for our own audience to hear. But well, I guess just a little bit about your background, if you could share. You're from Jackson, Mississippi, of all places, and now you're in LA, and you're a Hollywood actor. You know, how did
Yeah.
this all come to be? And like, give us a little bit of your upbringing, and maybe how that ties into your career today.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, and was probably the farthest thing away from an artist. You know, I had no one I knew was really in the arts, or definitely no one that I hung out with. I was like I played football, baseball was like that was kind of like the thing. I graduated from college with a finance degree, and everybody that I knew and kind of ran with was in the business world, and that was kind of their path. You know, it was graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, find a an internship, then get your way. Hopefully, that lands you a good job in one of these big cities close by, and that's kind of your route. That was I tried to fit that for so long, and finally, when I hit like 25, I was like, this is not me, and I accepted it. And then that led me out west to I was just kind of following my heart. I went to work for JH Ranch, this guest ranch where that's actually where I met you, Cameron. And out there is where I started initially just the idea came to me about acting, and I had never thought about acting literally once. I was probably the last person that should have been an actor. And I say that because I grew up with a lot of social anxiety, a lot of fear. I'm a very I would say I'm a guarded, quieter person. I'm more introverted. And I also had one of my earliest memories as a kid was me going to a speech pathologist. I used to have a pretty gnarly stutter when I was younger, and so that was definitely something that kind of I just naturally was like, I mean, anything communication wise probably won't aim that way. But yeah, so I ended up when I was out there at JH Ranch, I had a lot of time alone up in the mountains, and I I came to this conclusion that I had always kind of lived on I'd always watched life go by, and I was like, you know what? It was more of just me trying acting. It was the shift in my mindset of I'm actually going to try at life. I'm going to like see what happens if I jump into something that I'm not guaranteed a win on. You know, because this other path that I was walking down, it's not that it was bad. It was just it was kind of there's a lot more security there, and I think that's what I've realized. You know, is that I kind of had to forego that sense of security to kind of shoot in the dark and see what was true of me in a way. And I found acting, and in that process, I fell in love with acting, fell in love with art and story and the human experience, kind of like a thing actors say, but it's true. I really love it. So that's kind of a
Huh.
quick story, but yeah,
Wow.
I love.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
So
That's
you
okay.
mentioned initially. Oh, sorry, Cam. You
You're
mentioned
good. Go.
initially like, so you figure this out while you're at JH Ranch. You're like, hey, maybe I give this thing a shot.
Yeah.
What's like the next path there? You're like, all right, let's see if I can make this happen. Do you have to find like a like manager kind of thing? Do you have to find somebody who's casting? And then follow up to that is like, what was the moment that clicked where you're like, oh wow, I actually really like this a lot. Like this kind of seems like something I really want to do.
That's a really good question. So for me, I happen to have some friends who were in a drama school, and I mean, and so I initially brought it to them, and I was like, "Hey, like you guys are like actors, right? Like, what is it like? And you guys are in the school." And I was so green, like I didn't know anything, but I thought about maybe, okay, I should probably like train for this since I have no idea. Like trying to get into the profession didn't seem like the right idea. So I auditioned for a drama school. And I mean, I remember I had to look up what a monologue was as I like audition, because in the audition process you have to do two monologues and you have to sing a song, and that's part of the audition process. I didn't know what a monologue was, and so I say that to say I had no idea what I was doing. And I
That's
remember
awesome.
when I was at JH Ranch with Cameron, one of the things that I made myself do that I was terrified to do was audition for the rodeo. Like JH Ranch has this rodeo skit, right? And it's like essentially how you audition. They're like, let's just get everybody in the one room and let's just embarrass them. Let's just make them do the most embarrassing things, and whoever like, and we'll select who we want to select based off those experiences. Like I think we had to like essentially act out a scene with the nursery rhymes. We're like, all right, you're John Wayne, and you have to say Jack and Jill ran up the hill as John Wayne. And there's 180 people in this room, and they like tell you that, and they're like, go. And it's horrifying. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna put on some music, dance, just dance, and let's see how good you can dance.
Dope.
It was terrifying. It was my worst nightmare, but I made myself do it. I was like, I cannot say that I'm auditioning to go into a drama school and not also audition for this rodeo skit. Uh,
I did not
but
realize that about you. I didn't realize you felt that was like out of your comfort zone back then.
oh, bro, it was it like literally, and I still like have that body memory of the terror that I felt. Like even the last film I was doing, I I remember I was in my kitchen cooking, like not thinking about filming. I was like about to start this process of going on a set a lot for 3 weeks, and I would just look down at my hand, and my hand would be shaking from all like the stress that I was carrying of just this fear of my whole life of just carrying all this fear of being seen, kind of being in the being center stage, whatever that means. It's
Wow.
it's been a working, a huge work in progress. Like I remember when I was 17, there was times when I would have to like say a prayer in front of my best friend, and I would be terrified to pray. Like for a meal, I would remember like we'd be like, "Hey Matthew, say the prayer," and I'd be like, "This is life or death." That's what it felt like. I
Huh.
was about to like climb Mount Everest. Um,
Huh.
Wow.
and if anyone's ever struggled with social anxiety, I'm sure that like you can understand what that feels
Yeah.
like. It feels a real heavy, weighty fear. It doesn't feel like just kind of a normal caution. It's like this feels like a deep thing. Um, so
Wow.
yeah, but
Yeah, I didn't realize that about you.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I
it's
really
been
wouldn't have guessed it, actually.
yeah. Well,
I mean, you go out to J Ranch, you're head river guide. You got to do. You're a leader. You're this and that. You
yeah,
speak in front of people. I never would have
yeah,
crossed my mind.
yeah. Well, that's part of the story. I would say is that I when I started making this initial effort in my life to kind of attack this fear, I started. I was like, I'm only going to do jobs that require me to communicate. I'm not
Mm.
going to let myself sit back and have long periods of time where I don't have to, because that's when the thoughts can kind of build up, and it can become this big thing of like I got to speak, and I haven't spoken in front of people in so long. Am I going to stutter again? So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just kind of grazing over, just because it would just take forever to go into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can if we want to, but like
No, oh,
it's
oh well. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I mean, this is our podcast. We go as long as we want sometimes. So
okay.
honestly, we're here for it. It's up to you. I'll leave it up
Yeah.
to you.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, it's more. Okay. Okay. It's very personal, so I
We
just didn't know if I wanted to like go into
and look,
stuff like.
and by the way, Matthew, before you continue, anything you say, you can let me know. I can take out by the way.
Okay.
We say literally anything here, and we know we'll cut it up later.
Yeah.
So like anything goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can always cut it up to however you want it to be.
I
So
love that. 2023 technology. Let's
yeah,
go.
that's
That's
right.
right.
Editing, post
Editing.
production.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, okay, okay. Well, you know, and also, I don't know how much you guys want me to go into, like, you know what? I'm just going to talk, and then you guys can.
You should.
Well, I mean, with the whole stutter thing, I'll tell you guys the story of how that became an option for me to to think that I could overcome something like that. Because I'll say this, it felt like the thing in my life that hindered me the most. I went to JH Ranch when I was a kid, like I was 19. And at this point, the 2 years before that, my stutter had gotten really bad. Like, I remember at some points trying to talk on the phone, and I remember had this job interview, and this person called me, and I got on the phone and I tried to say something and nothing would come out, and so I just like hung up, and I called her back, and I was able to be like, oh yeah, sorry, like I guess that, and I was kind of stammering through this. I guess we had some phone issues, but that's kind of how bad it got, where I was struggling to talk on the phone, no social interactions. But I went to this like worship gathering, and this is in the middle of all this going on. And as I'm there, this random woman walks up to me, and she puts her hand on my shoulder, and she says, "The stammering tongue shall be made fluent in the name of Jesus." And she just says that like 5 times. And she goes, "You are on a path where no stammer or stutter can keep you from." Now, mind you, this lady had no idea who I was. Like, she just walked up to me and said that. And I start laughing I'm like, how in the world does she know that? Like, that this is the thing that I'm like currently like wondering how I'm going to continue on with my life. Like, how am I going to get through life and I can't communicate? She walked away, and I stopped laughing, and the weight of what she said hit me. And I just started like bawling my eyes out, and just going, wow, it was such a practical and intimate thing that happened in regards to like my journey, in my journey with God and my faith, because it allowed a possibility to like be birthed in my mind that all of a sudden I wasn't hindered by this. And so that possibility gave me courage. Like, maybe this thing could not be the defining factor of my life. And, it started immediately after that. I felt in my heart, I felt that it was the voice of God telling me to go up on the microphone and give a testimony of what just happened. Right after I heard this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never held a microphone before. That's terrifying. But I did. I went up there and I held a microphone, and I did not stutter, and I gave a testimony. I was like, you guys won't believe what just happened. And from that point on, I started taking public speaking classes. I started essentially looking at any job that required me to communicate. I was a CrossFit instructor. I applied to be a river guide at JH Ranch after that. And essentially just started aiming at communicating, and I could feel God was doing something in my life. Like, he was, and now I look at it as a giant. It's like God's sense of humor to make
Yeah.
me, in a way, this person who I felt so disqualified. People from my hometown also, when they find that I'm an actor, they're like, whoa, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've like worked as an actor. That's even crazier too. They're like,
Yep.
like, you really? Because I was never in any of the school plays or anything like that. But yeah, that was kind of the origin story. That's why I started on this journey of intentionally going after a lifestyle against what I thought of who I thought I was when it came to my speech. And yeah, which eventually led me to acting like 7 years later. It
Yeah.
wasn't like after that I was like, I'm going to be an actor. It was more like I'm following this path and I'm not going to get off this path. And eventually that season came to where the acting was on my plate, and I was like, you know what? I've been doing crazy stuff my whole life. I've been, I'm off kind of the beaten path, so to speak. And so let's try acting. And I knew one of the motivating reasons for me to try that was going, if I try this and it doesn't work out, it's all good. At least I know I tried. If I never do
Yeah.
this, I might regret this the rest of my life. And I've
Yep.
talked to people who regret stuff like that. Man, I wish I would have tried this thing. I wish I would have done X, Y, or Z, whatever it is. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna stand on the banks of life when I know I could
Yeah.
get in the rapids, and I might get banged up a little bit, but that's it's worth it in my mind. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
That's cool.
Okay.
That's super cool. Super
yeah.
cool story.
Well, and then from there I signed on with my with my manager, who she's still my manager, and she's become a friend as well. So it's just kind of been that's kind of been the story, is just following this thing, just kind of hanging on for
Yeah.
dear life. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, like in the arts. There's not really that set path. There is a consistency
Yeah.
that you can find, but there's not a security and a guarantee like there is in other career
Yeah.
paths.
Right. You
Have
have
you
to
guys?
really love it. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I've talked to you about it, and I'll share a little bit here because our
yeah.
audience hasn't heard any of this. But Josh, did you want to answer anything there? I don't know.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, that's kind of the crazy part about all this is the reason I reached out to you last week was literally because of something you said in 2018 when you were literally my age, which is just kind of, I don't know, mind-boggling. It's cool in a way. It's really cool because it's like that's kind of where I'm at in a way, I guess. And I don't know. I won't share too much here, but at the same time, I'm like, man, why have I been assuming I couldn't do something my entire life? It's like, why have I been thinking, like, oh yeah, I can play music, but like, who cares? Like, I mean, I'm not like those guys who really do it. Like, it's like, why would you believe that your whole life when you've never? And why would you not give it a shot at least? And it was like for me, it was like at age 27, crazy enough, I was like, yeah, what am I doing? Why am I not actually going for what I truly feel like I was designed to do? It's crazy. I could not care less if I make nothing from this ever, make no living whatsoever from it. I don't care. Like I'm just like that. I was meant to do it. I have to do it. Forget
That's
about
right.
whatever the career path looks like. Just make music. Forget about everything. Just make it.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but I do relate. I relate to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even to like a lesser degree, it's like how this podcast started. And have we like made it with this podcast? No, not at all. Like, we're not some famous podcast, but this started in 2020 where Cam and I were like, we feel like we have good conversation. Maybe we should do this. Trialed
Yeah.
it a little bit. Didn't really.
Every dude thought that in 2020.
Yeah,
but,
that's right. Yeah. Trialed it a little bit. We filmed some good episodes, and then it just like fizzled out. And then recently we're like, dude, why are we not just committing to like producing something that we've always talked about doing? We always talk about restarting it. We always talk about just making content.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you just commit to something and you do it. And it always starts as like it's funny when you start and people sometimes would be like, oh yeah, that's like really cool. Like, oh, good. That's nice. Like, it's almost like a courtesy. Like, oh, you do a podcast. Like, that's exciting. And then like recently we were talking about this like the other day where people are now like talking to us and they're like, oh, like I actually like really enjoy it. Like straight up, like I really enjoy what you guys are doing. And it's less of like a courtesy thing and more of like oh, that's like a true appreciation for mostly just like the time and effort that we put in. And it's not like we do it to be this like big, rich and famous thing. It's like we do it because we enjoy what we do. And people are like, oh yeah, like I can tell that you guys are like making a big effort for this. So it's similar. It's like anything with like anything creative, there's not
Yeah.
there's not really a prescriptive method for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say, to like piggyback off that, the thing about art is like you are out there to create something that is going to be attractive to people, but the thing is you're creating it. Therefore, it's not something like you hop into a career path that's like business, corporate, whatever, where it's like you already know what you're trying to do. Well, you already know what the mission is. It's very clear to everybody. Okay, like you're an employee or whatever. This is like with art, it's like you have to create what people will be attracted, that you hope people will be attracted to eventually down the road. And so like you might look a little crazy at the beginning, like doing some stuff and testing the waters, but it's like that's the kind of stuff that it takes to literally make something where the whole world wants a part of it. So I mean, I don't know, that's kind of how I see art in a way. It's like, okay, you might look weird at the beginning and might feel uncomfortable. It's like at the same time you might be creating what is society, what society deems amazing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also been something that I've had to do in my active and just creative process, and I think it can relate to anything when it comes to like a creative pursuit. Is I've had to release, I call it release the rescue of an outcome, the rescue of a product. And in that view of art as a product, it actually ceases to be original. It ceases to be art. It's like if we're doing it for an outcome, it all of a sudden becomes it loses what true art is, which is it's a form of self-expression. It's original. It's something that reminds us why we wake up in the morning. But if we're doing it, for me as an actor, if I'm doing it to book a job, that's actually going to block me in my artistic expression, actually, and it's actually going to block my acting because I'm trying to be seen as something. And I feel like that can relate. Like but it's so tempting as artists. Oh man, like if we had so many views on our podcast, if our podcast was just like this, then we'd be good. It's like there's this pseudo rescue thing that we put on stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have
That's totally
exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, I really do have to use the restroom, so just give me like 60 seconds. I'll be right back. But I trust Josh can continue this.
No,
whatever direction.
We'll keep rolling the podcast without you, dude. We'll pretend like you're the guest when you come back. So
I will have my AirPods in so I can hear everything you guys say. I just can't speak. So I'll just be right back.
Yeah.
Josh, how did you and Cameron get connected? How do you guys know each other?
There you go.
Yeah. Thank goodness that guy's gone. He's the worst. No, so Cameron and I we've known each other for almost 10 years, about 10 years. So we met each other in college. Cameron's freshman year of college, my sophomore, junior year. And then we ran track together in college. And then we were roommates for the 2015-2016 school year. And then we've just been super close ever since. So it's been a long time.
Yeah. So you're in Colorado right now.
Yeah, I'm in Denver. Yep. I've been here since 2017. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Came here, moved here after school, never left. So
yeah, dude.
It's great.
I went to Colorado last year. I drove through like kind of like the Four Corners area, like southwestern Colorado.
Yeah.
Forgot the name of the town. But I like Colorado.
Beautiful down there. Yeah, dude.
Oh my God, dude, it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Were you near Durango? Is that where you went through? Or
I literally hit like the South Cortez. Is there a town called Cortez?
It could be.
I wasn't really. I was turkey hunting down there. I was doing like some hunting stuff. So it wasn't a place that would normally be populated. It wasn't like a big city nearby. It was just like I was looking for a turkey. So but it was gorgeous. It was freezing cold. It was in May.
I'm sure.
But it was gorgeous.
Yeah, Southwest Colorado is like a very less traveled part, obviously. Yeah. It's like as soon as you get off the 70 boundary pretty much where everyone just kind of shoots across, it's like a lot less traveled, but it's like some of the coolest country over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so part of the reason I wanted to have you on, Matthew, also is this. So Josh and I, we have the same. Literally, we discovered last night on Spotify we have 95% of the exact same music taste. Like
No
our
way.
libraries are 95% the same thing. So pretty crazy. Anyway, that being said, um, I think you like a lot of the same music we do too. So
Dude, it's funny.
bands like Laney, Joan, whatever, you know.
Dude, I love them. I literally was texting my friend today or yesterday. We're talking about. I don't know if you guys know who Knightley is, but Knightley.
Bro,
You guys like? Yeah. Actually,
oh,
yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
Knightley's amazing. They're coming to LA in October, and my buddy was like,
I know they just announced their tour dates today. I saw.
"Okay, you could. That was today." Then, yeah, I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And
Yep.
dude, ever since you put me on to Fly By Midnight, Cameron,
Oh yeah.
You know who
listening,
showed me that band?
no way.
Josh. Right here. Yeah.
Yeah,
We actually have we had an episode. This was early. One of the first episodes we did. We were talking. We're like, dude, what music have you listened to recently? And Cam's like, oh, I've been listening to Nightly like all the time. And I'm like, I've been listening to Fly By Midnight, and they kind of have like a similar like sound, similar name almost in a way. And then it just went from there.
Dude, so the crazy thing about this is, I mean, Josh showed me Fly By Midnight in 2018, so I have been listening to them for a while, but they all have, so Joan, Fly By Midnight, I might have mentioned this to you, Matthew, I don't know. Joan, Fly By Midnight, Boys Like Girls, the band Camino, a few others, they all have the same audio engineer. So, like, the person mastering their tracks is the same person.
that's what it
Blew my
is.
mind.
That's okay
Yep.
because like I hear that sound and there's something like you can't describe, and then I'm like,
Yep.
there's, but it's connecting them. Today. I love it. That's crazy because
Yeah.
I love the
And
Camino
it's-
as well.
Yeah. It's
I don't know
it's
what the
funny
heck that guy's doing. He's putting some kind of magic in there because all the sounds. I'm like, why does this sound so good? Like all of their stuff. Like I don't know.
Seriously, I want to know this guy now.
By the
Who
way,
is-
boys. Oh, so the
Yeah.
crazy thing is, the reason I found out about this guy is because I made a connection recently who knows him, and they're like, oh, I'm friends with the guy who like produces all their music, and I was like, what? So anyway, I'm fingers crossed, very much so, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get him to master one of my tracks. We'll see. So I'll just
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 go out.
slide into that whole category.
right.
Yeah. So,
you have an artist name,
but
Cameron? You have an artist name?
do I have an artist name?
Yeah,
Yeah, Portical.
Portical. Is that how you say it?
Look it
Portical.
up. Portical. Yeah.
Portical. Do you have an Instagram for your stuff yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in my
So-
bio. You can find it all. Yeah. I put a
Okay.
single out in 2019. I was doing electronic back then, but it's just one single. So
Okay. Okay. You guys know who Night Traveler is?
no, actually.
No.
But it has night in it, so it must be good.
Yeah, it must be good.
Might be the same guy. They have a very similar sound too. They're I'll send you guys some of their stuff when we wrap this up. They're good.
Okay.
Really good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So kind of similar genre, you think? Or what?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of that indie pop sound feel. Yeah. They're good. I think you guys will. If you guys like Joan Nightly, Fly By Midnight, you'll.
Right.
I assume
Yeah.
you'll like. Night
And you
Traveler.
saw Joan, right? You saw them last year or something?
Yeah, they were and they were amazing in concert. Like songs that I would hear sometimes on Spotify or Apple Music. By them,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like this is not my favorite. I heard it live. I was like, it's incredible. Like they were one of those bands where they didn't just hit par of what they sound like on their actual their actual tracks. Like live, they were better. I
Yes.
was like, oh, that I was so
Yeah.
impressed, and it was one of the best concerts I've been to. I would say
Where did you see them at?
the Troubadour in L.A.
Oh. I know. I've never been. I know I'm familiar with it, I think, but huh.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Have you
That
guys-
would have been
that point is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you got to.
that'd been like really early in their career, right? Oh,
I
not
was gonna
early,
say
I guess, but- Good.
that comment on they sound better live is I think the denominator for most of the bands that we talk about. Laney is one of those. Valley, Band Camino,
Valley, definitely.
you know, it's like they all have like a similar tone and a little bit of similar sound, but they're kind of unique in their own ways. But they all sound, I think for all of them, they sound better live than they do on their recorded tracks. And I agree with that sentiment where I'll hear a song recorded and I'm like, yeah, this song's all right. It's not great, not bad. And then I hear it live and I'm like, I have a way bigger appreciation for this song because it sounds so much better live than it does on the studio recording. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Laney's dropping a new album, right? Here pretty soon. Are they?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You
let's see.
want Matt? By the way, Matthew, if you wonder how much of a fan I am of Laney, I'm just gonna have to show you this right now and admit it. But
Is that a
wait, hold
what
on.
is it?
Let me see if I can.
yeah, come closer. Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude, that's incredible, bro.
I kind of lost my mind last year when I was seeing them live and just like went all out. So
Yeah.
Where did you see him live? You see him live on the East Coast?
Charlottesville, Virginia.
Charlottesville?
Yeah. Mhm.
Dude,
It was actually really cool because their family was there too because they're from Charlottesville or something. But
it's so weird because Paul Klein, he lives here in LA, right? And I was out at a bar for my friends. It was like my friend's going away party, and it was she kept talking about this bar, right? It's like this little secret bar in LA that she always sees like Johnny Depp at and Jason Momoa, all these like big stars, and we go to this bar, right? It's like it's just like this thing on the edge of this block, and I walk in there, and there's like people start kind of piling in, and I start seeing I'm like looking at all these people, I'm like, that's like, whoa, that's Shailene Woodley, that's Cole Sprouse, and that's Haley Lou Richardson, I think is her name, from The White Lotus, and
Yep.
and then Paul Klein walks in. And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
dude, that's freaking. It's like Laney. I wanted to be like cowboy, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like, but I was
Yeah.
playing cool. But I was like, it was like a weird experience. Like, I've seen celebrities around LA, but
right.
seeing like literally like it felt like there was 20 of them. The entire CW was in this bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, that's Paul Klein. So
That's wild. Yeah.
You should have gone
can
up
spot
to him.
him. Yeah, you can spot him too from across the room.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. Yeah.
super good looking dude, like insane jawline. That must
Yeah.
be Paul Klein. Like,
yeah, they're like, yeah, that guy, the guy standing out in
Yeah.
the crowd, good-looking people, that guy. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I have like a crazy obsession with that man.
Come to LA, dude. I have some friends that hang with him, so
Oh, you do?
I actually do.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah,
I believe it. I believe it. I mean, it's tempting. It's tempting.
it's weird being here because you like your friend will post something and you're like, what? You're hanging out with that person right now? Like, it's weird. It's like because everyone lives here. That's or a lot of artists live here, but I don't know.
Right.
It still isn't. I still haven't gotten used to it. I kind of have, but not fully. I still kind of fan out sometimes when I see people.
As you should. That's good.
Yeah.
You-
I was in a coffee shop and I was like looking and ordering something, but I wasn't sure, and I turned around really fast and I bumped into this guy, and it was Toby Maguire.
Wait.
And I just kind of froze, and he was like looking at me, and I was like, I just didn't say anything. It was really awkward. I was like, bro, you can go ahead if you want. And he was like, thanks. And just like walked right past me. And it was right when Spider-Man Homecoming had just come out.
No way.
Oh
What?
my
I
gosh.
was like, Toby, like, you're my Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Peter. I mean, Spider-Man. What?
Yeah.
Peter Parker, yeah. But no, that was a weird one. I was like, where am I? Where in the world am I right now?
That's crazy.
That is wild. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, because he's like best known. He's best known for as far as like TMZ goes and like the paparazzi. He's known for that one clip of him in his car. Have you seen that? Where he's driving, and there's all the cameras and it like flashes
You're
like, get the. Which is like, it's like oh, he's such a rude guy. It's like, I mean, no, like that. I can understand where he's coming from. He can't see the freaking road.
Oh my
I
word!
love that clip. It's
I've seen that clip.
legendary.
Yeah.
Oh my
I,
god!
I remember when that movie came out, everyone kept comparing all the Spider-Men together, and they're like, Tobey Maguire looks like their youth pastor that's still like super cool, trying to be trendy. It's like, yep, that's exactly right.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, that was trippy seeing all of them in the same film. You know, I was like, man, this is crazy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm curious, based on what I've seen so far of The Walk, this guy, Justin Chatwin, you know him pretty well?
Uh, y- Enough to if I saw him on the street, I'd
Oh.
what's up, man? I don't have his cell phone number or anything like that, but I mean, we I got to work with him, and it was cool to cool to work with him. It was funny too because he was, I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan growing up, and he played Goku
No
in a live
way.
action Goku, um, and so it was like this weird thing to like get to act with Goku in a way.
That's
Oh
funny.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, but no,
He weirdly looks like you a little bit. I don't know. It's a
yeah,
mustache and whatever.
he's a cool dude. We talked about yeah, there he is. We talked about when we were there. He likes to ride motorcycles, and so he was
Oh,
telling me
no
some.
way.
Yeah, dude, he's a pretty. He seemed, from my time I got to talk with him, he seemed like a pretty rad dude. He like camps a lot. He rides a lot in the Baja, like stretch and so yeah, dude. He was it was cool getting to work with him, and yeah, it's Shameless. I think yeah, there it is.
Mhm.
Yes.
Wow, that's
That's
wild.
Um,
wow.
yeah, worked with him. Jeremy Piven actually played my dad, which was weird because I've oh yeah,
Wait,
that's him
what?
right there. Yeah,
Oh, the
that's
older guy? Hold on.
that's Malcolm McDowell, the older guy right there. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie called A
Oh, I
Clockwork.
definitely. Oh, wait, sorry. What movie?
It's called A Clockwork Orange. I think it was back in the 70s.
I haven't seen it, but I definitely know the actor. I remember as soon as I saw the movie, I was like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. I've
Yeah,
seen him in something.
yeah.
By the way, same with, oh, what's his name? The black dude?
Oh, Terrence Howard.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Terrence Howard was in the film. I got to peg his car with a rock, so that
No.
was fun.
Oh, dude. I see. I gotta finish the movie. I gotta see this.
Yeah,
Dude, it's
spoilers.
It was so funny on that film. I was so I was fresh out of drama school, and I was just like giving it my all, and but it was such a crazy learn. I learned so much from that film. But going back, I'm
really
like I learned a lot of lessons on that film. A lot of good.
lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like one of the things I did on the film is, there was this line. The character that I played was this young, really troubled, traumatized South Boston dude who was really against what was happening, which was the integration of the schools. So very racist, very violent guy, and one of the like the kind of the end moment of the film and the story is this big riot that happens when they try to integrate the different school systems, the black neighborhoods and the white neighborhoods, putting them together in the same school. There's this huge riot. It actually happened in Boston in the 1970s. And in the script, there was this moment where it's written like my character's name was John. John goes wild and starts screaming, flailing, hitting the bus, trying to rip this guy out of the bus, right? And like I was scripted to say, I'm gonna kill you. Like that's what I'm like saying to this guy. And so I'm like processing this. This is the last day of shooting. I'm like, how am I gonna like want to kill somebody? Like, how do I get there? And I'm a green actor, so I'm like, I'm just going, how do I get there, right? And it's like midnight, and we finally get to shoot this scene, and I was like, I'm gonna let myself go to this uncontrollable place that I never let myself go to. And they call action, and this essentially there's this kid on the bus, like from the window of the bus, like yelling at me, and he flicks me off, and I'm outside the bus, and I like let myself go. I'm like, I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna let this. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I just run as hard as I can, and I dive through double pane window of the bus, just boom. I just throw my whole body through a double pane window.
No way.
I
That
fall
wasn't
back,
scripted?
not scripted. I fall back, and I'm still in it. And I start grabbing the glass with my hands, the shattered glass, and ripping it out of the window.
What?
I'm hitting the bus,
Yo.
and like, there's extras on the bus. They're starting to cry, like because they're scared. And I'm going, fuck you. I'm like trying to rip this guy out of the bus. Like, I just let myself just get there, and I'm hitting the bus, and I'm seeing bloody handprints as I hit the
Oh
bus.
my gosh.
My hands were shredded. And
Oh my gosh.
I'll never forget. This is like, I hear cut, and and the director was like it was like one of those things, and like the whole crew was silent. You know, usually the crew is like doing their thing, and they do this all along. Everyone's like, what the? And I like turn around and I feel blood running down my face because my head had gone through the window. And long story short, it was not the right thing to do, as like from like like it was too far. And I and the camera didn't catch it right. Like it wasn't the angle for that. But it made the film. But
It did?
it,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
it made the film the angle that they got. And I learned a lesson that I don't have to do that, and how to do that, and how to run that scene and let that out in a measure when the camera's on my face. I've learned a lot of lessons since then, but I'll say that was one of the greatest moments I've ever had acting, because the crew was coming to me and they go, "Bro, that was like the most epic thing I've ever seen." Like they were like, "Dude, that was badass. Whatever you did." And it was such a thing for me where I proved to myself that I was like, okay, I'll go 100%. Like, and I have
Yeah.
a stack of evidence here that says that, okay, I'll give it my all. I don't have to throw myself through a window. Like but I know I will. And so I like earned some points with me, I guess. But it was like seeing the director's face. I'll never forget it. And I still laugh about it. Still, I'll just be sitting down like randomly, like, a couple times a year, and just like laugh at the response of the crew going. People were like, "Why did you do that?" And other group of people were like, "Dude, that was incredible." It was just this whole thing. I had to get my head sewed up. It was
Oh, geez. Yeah,
Oh
that's what I was
my-
going to ask. How bad was your hands and your head?
So my hands, this had some cuts on them. We just pulled the glass out and we were good. My head had a split. One of the makeup artists, her dad was a famous plastic surgeon at Johns Hopkins, and she FaceTimed him, and he like took a look at it, and we stereo stripped it. She called one of her friends at a hospital. The hospital gal comes up, patches it up, and then I actually ended up shooting another scene at like 4 a.m.
No
Like,
way.
patched up. We just kind of like got the camera on this side. So
Wow.
yeah, it was a wild experience. That film like changed my life, because it was my first ever film, and I kind of didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Learn
was
as you
like-
go.
it was
Yeah.
learn as I go, and I was like, I'm just gonna go 100%. That's all I know how to do right now. And
Yeah.
somehow didn't. I've worked after that, so it didn't destroy my career, but I had a great time, and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
And I met some amazing people. Like, I'm still friends with a lot of the people on that I met on that set.
Wow.
But it was wild, dude. I'll never forget.
How did that film come about? Did you just get like headhunted? Did the role just kind of pop up? And then did you just have to go to casting, and how did that all play out?
My manager, so the agency that I'm with, they represent directors, actors, and writers. And so the writer director is also represented by the same agency. And so that's how my manager found out about it. And my manager, she is she's a bulldog. She'll find a way to get you in the door, and like essentially kind of what you want as a manager. Like she's such a great. She cares so much about her clients. But she got me an audition for this film because she knew it was coming up, and so I did the audition, got a call back, and then did the callback audition, and found out I I booked it. So it was kind of one of those
Nice.
things. That's in the acting world. You really need representation for
Yeah.
that reason right there. They fight for you and they allow you to have opportunities to swing the bat. A lot of people think,
Yeah.
a lot of young actors think, oh, if I just get signed by this agency, then I'll be a working actor. Or, I'll have like it's a lot more than that. It took me about a while to learn that because I did that film and then I didn't work for 2 years almost. So, but yeah, that's how it came about. So
Wow. That's cool.
Is there any like actor that you've always kind of looked up to in a way where you're like, I want to do what he's doing or whatever, or her? I don't know. Maybe you like.
yeah, you know, acting like I know I like. I mean, it was funny when my drama school like method acting was so taboo, and I've
Uh,
always been the type to like if people are like forbidding something, I'm like, why? Is it
yes, that's
powerful?
how I am.
So like Daniel Day-Lewis, who is like king method
Mm-hmm.
actor, and he's like
Yep.
the goat. I've
Yep.
always looked up to his commitment and how he sees it's not just about trying to get a good performance. He's actually deeply believes in his bones that he's representing another human life, and that how
Mm,
could he ever represent a human life accurately without a 100% commitment in every way.
right.
I don't do method stuff, but yeah, Daniel Day Lewis is great. Right now, I'm watching Daisy Jones and the Six,
Yeah,
and
I've never
and,
seen it. I know what it. I know it though.
and Sam Coughlin, I think is how you say his name. He's a British actor. He is just blowing me away. He's like so like vulnerable, which I'm as an actor, I'm looking at that. I'm like, what he's doing is so hard, but it's just like there, and it's like really, it makes you want to keep watching because you're like that is a human being really letting himself go through that experience. So
Wow.
yeah, you guys should watch Daisy. It's a good show. I don't watch a lot of
Hmm.
TV, but I really like
Yeah.
Daisy Jones and the Six, so I'd recommend it.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you what is what's your so you I'm guessing you're ethic are you ethically closed off to method acting?
No, I'm actually not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, not because there's a lot of misconceptions about method acting.
Sure.
Some people think that method acting is the true definition of method acting is when you use your own experiences to fuel the story.
Hmm.
But what most people think of method acting, kind of the non-actor version, is when you like won't come out of a character. That's kind of like what most people
Right.
think.
Like Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, so that's actually apparently what I've heard is that's actually a misconception that Heath Ledger was a method actor, and on the Joker it actually like damaged him. Most people who were on set of the Joker said he was having a blast. He himself said it was his favorite, one of the funnest experiences he had as an actor, and he actually, I think he was addicted to those sleeping pills before then, and then
Probably.
he
Uh,
passed when he was on set with a different movie. He passed when he
Oh.
was filming Willy Wonka or something like that.
hmm.
Oh.
So a lot of people think that he went too far in the mind of the Joker. A
Yeah.
lot of people think that's a misconception. Obviously, we'll never really know.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Wow.
um, that's because I like looked all this stuff up because I was like everyone's like saying don't method act. I'm like why? I want to be the best actor I can
Yeah.
possibly be. Is
Yeah.
method acting the route? And I found that fact about Heath Ledger. I saw some interviews too of some people who worked on set, some of the like lead actors. They were like, yeah, he was actually a joy to be around.
Wow.
When, um, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
Right.
But ethically, I'm like, kind of whatever works. For me, I found it not very helpful to use my own personal stuff because it just doesn't compare in a way. Like you can kind of create something in your imagination. Our imaginations are pretty powerful. You can create something that has way more weight to it than a personal thing, I think.
Mm. And
But
that's like and that sounds like more oh,
yeah,
and that sounds even more artistic to like focus on like creating another like almost like not version but maybe like another being of you in order to I guess it's the art of it. It's like creating somebody else that could fulfill the same deep emotion that maybe you felt in your own life, but you're trying to create that in somebody else, or you're trying to create a new character and feel what you felt in your own life. I don't know. Translate that over to a new character.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know if it's ever been like, do you use like I guess you're saying you don't use your own like thoughts or your own memories to like invoke a kind of emotion.
well, the way it's been explained to me is that stuff's already there. Like we already carry our
Right.
stuff, and if you know if something that's happened comes up and fuels something, you don't deny it. But as a source, for me, it hasn't been effective because and there's two kind of camps in the whole acting world, and the camp that is primarily, hey, use your imagination, don't use your real stuff. That camp says if you're playing the king of Denmark, what in your life could compare at all to the king of Denmark in the 1500s? Like you have nothing that your dog dying when you were 10 doesn't compare to what it was to anything, like, and so you can try to like match stuff up, but there's a nuance there that you kind of need with the imagination, I guess, for the specifics of something versus like just like sadness kind of. I don't know. I guess if you're trying to pull out tears, but, I've worked with actors. I was working with this actress recently, and she had a method to pull out a tear. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so.
You're good.
I was sitting there talking, and I was like, guys,
Yeah.
and then I looked at my phone. I guess the hotspotting just like slashed the battery.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
But
Yeah.
okay,
But
okay,
we were rolling, and I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. Does anybody here
yeah. I
remember?
think we're talking about like method acting or something like
method
that.
Right.
acting, and
Yeah. Have you guys ever acted before? I have a question for you guys.
no, definitely not for my angle. That's like,
So yeah,
yeah,
I've always like growing up. I did the classic like act in the shower, thing.
Classic.
Classic. Yeah, everybody does that. So
Everybody acts in the
yeah,
shower.
you like the it's hitting your face, and you pretend you're in some like epic like scene with like torrential rain in the night, and you're just like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I've been acting for a while. No, but actually, I've always like have had such a like some innate like fascination with acting. I've always wanted to get into it. I just never have. I
Yeah.
never went to theater or anything. Two of my siblings did theater growing up. I never did it. I worked backstage a little bit for them, but that was it. I've always wanted to get in acting though. Like I've always wanted to, but no, never have.
That's cool.
dang, maybe this is your chance.
That's,
Maybe this is a
there you go,
call to
Jack.
action.
Oh,
Hey.
so we do our so anyway, whatever we were talking about, it was good stuff. But we do our big question of the day is this:
Okay.
Are you going to be seeing the movie Oppenheimer in July?
Oh, 100%. I've been seeing that like commercial and like first off, I love Killian. I think it's
Yep.
how you say his
Killian,
name,
yep.
Killian Murphy. Because I loved him in
Peaky
Peaky
Blinders.
Blinders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, and so I was like, and I know this like they filmed this a while ago because I kept seeing like the teaser
Yeah.
trailer or something, and so finally have it out. And what a crazy story too! Like the story
Oh,
of like
yeah.
the invention of the like insane.
So are you a
So
Christopher Nolan guy in general or what?
yeah, I mean, I think Christopher Nolan's awesome. I mean, I grew up on Batman, The Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Rises. I mean, those were like I feel like The Dark Knight Rises is possibly one of the best movies ever made.
Yep, it'd be my top 10.
And
Yep.
and Heath Ledger's performance in that
Well, that'd be Dark
top
Knight. But
10 performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the Dark Knight was just it was like so. I don't know. There's no way. It was just beautiful. It was art. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Yeah, I would say I'm a Christopher Nolan guy. I didn't follow Tenet was
Yeah.
like tough to,
Yeah.
but I know Christopher Nolan was kind of like I don't know what's happening either. That's what I heard that he like was kind of like yeah we're seeing what this like there was a lot of
Yes.
like kind of intentional
So
confusion,
literally, like Robert
but
Pattinson and John David Washington during the movie, like filming scenes, they literally admitted they're like, I don't know what's actually happening right now.
Yeah.
I love that.
how could you? How could you be like, well, like this timeline's going this way, but there's two timelines where like, yeah, like
Well, it's a,
Yeah.
also John David Washington, like because I had never heard of him until that film. I was so offended that someone could be Denzel Washington's son, an actor, and he was also a professional
no
athlete. I
way.
was like, that is not fair. He played in like the Canadian Football League. I was like, you can't have all three.
Yeah.
That is like just that is offensive to the human race
Yeah.
to be Denzel Washington's son, a professional athlete and an artist.
Yeah.
Like I that deeply he's just
Yeah, you're
And
not
that-
allowed to have.
yeah.
You're not allowed to have all three. You got to have a flaw in one of them. Like,
right.
Meanwhile, in the movie,
Oh
he's
my
just like
God.
a freaking badass, just like knocking guys out left and right. It's like, come on, man,
Yeah.
save some for the rest of us. I don't know.
Like come on, I'd pay to have one of those three.
yeah.
Yes.
Like
So that's the thing about.
and he's
Go ahead. Sorry. No,
Oh,
no,
go ahead.
you go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say he's got a movie coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for that. It's about
Yep.
AI.
Oh no.
Have you guys seen that? I don't know what it's called, but it's like it's a cool concept, especially with all the AI stuff going on
Yeah.
right now. It looks like an original sci-fi. It was not kind of like a regurgitated sequel. It's like an original sci-fi film, which I was like, oh, that's cool. I haven't seen one of those in
Yeah.
a while.
I
So-
haven't seen the trailer. I know, I've heard of it. I just haven't watched the trailer. But yeah, he do the whole thing with like Tenet. We've gone over it obviously on this podcast few times, and
no
we,
doubt,
we
yeah.
we talk Christopher Nolan movies like every episode almost.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's like the whole thing. If you really look at Tenet, it was actually designed to be a film that you would have to watch multiple times. Christopher Nolan literally said it. He's like the intention, the expectation. There's an expectation for the audience to where it's a puzzle you have to solve. Like if you don't have to, obviously you do whatever you want. But basically, he was saying like at this point, I've watched it 6 times because I'm trying to solve the puzzle. So it's he.
I guess that's a brilliant marketing thing. It's like, hey, how do you want to get people to
Yeah.
rewatch your movie?
I mean, I love it. The music is incredible. The acting's amazing.
Music's
I mean, the
great.
visuals
Yeah.
are cool. Like everything about it is a really great movie. It's just like it's just hard to understand, and that was kind of people's whole thing with it. It's like, I don't really get it. I'm so confused, and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely even more effort than Inception was, and Inception was like up there. Tenet's like up here,
Right.
but Inception also invoked more of the emotional side of things a little bit more of the dynamic with like relationships a little bit more than Tenet did. Tenet was more made to be a puzzle, and then like Inception, Interstellar had more of the emotional aspect, more of the like the love relationship aspect of things. Anyway, we've gotten into all this stuff
Yeah.
before, but
Yeah.
it's anyway. So yeah, that's our opinion on Tenet. That's my opinion at least. It's a puzzle.
It is.
What's your opinion, Josh?
It's
There you
yeah,
go.
mine's the same way. I think Tenet was one that like I get his intent behind it. I do think that went slightly too hard where I'm like I get you want to have this like trump on Inception, but like towards the end of that I've probably watched that movie I think 3 or 4 times and I'm like I get it but I still don't quite get it. And maybe that's the point where
Yeah.
you're going to get it but you're not going to get it. But yeah, I don't know. I think he was pushing the boundaries there to just see what he could do with a concept like that. And I think it fell a little flat for me, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Camera
Yeah.
All right,
Still
whatever, dude.
doesn't hold a candle to Inception, but
Hey, but hey,
Yeah.
Matthew, are you a fan of Interstellar by chance?
Yeah, that's a film that I want to rewatch. I think I've only seen it once, and I remember it like being a great film. But I really want to rewatch Interstellar.
yeah, there it is. There it is.
Oh, is that a book breaking
Yep.
down Interstellar?
Yeah.
That's that is what. Well, your notes.
Yeah,
fell
he's got
out.
notes
So,
and
There's-
everything.
It's like literally a textbook. So anyway, Kip Thorne, by the way, Kip Thorne, there he is. So he is the scientist who basically he's like 82 now. He studied all the concepts you see in that movie. He literally was like the one like studying them his entire life. He dedicated his life to time dilation based on gravity or affected by gravity, the laws of relativity, theories of relativity by Einstein, all of this stuff, gravity, whatever, the laws of gravity and relativity and time. Anyway, so he basically had this dream to create a blockbuster science fiction movie at one point that would be accurate to science. And so he started writing this. He started writing the concepts for the movie in 2005, and then I think Jonathan Nolan and then Christopher Nolan obviously jumped in later, wrote out the plot. But the whole point of the movie was to actually create real plots based on real science and not just like whatever arbitrary made up stuff. It's like fantasy. So anyway,
Right.
me and Josh, we have a fascination with the film for kind of that reason, because it's like they show you time travel in a way that is actually realistic. Like you can physically travel to the future. It is possible. It's might not be what you think, but you can do it. Well, maybe we can't, but maybe one day we could. It's out there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible, dude. I love when stuff like has that sci-fi, but there's like it's like this could actually happen.
And that was the whole point, like with the
Awesome.
film, everything that they did in it was all like scientifically accurate, all scientifically backed up. I mean, when they released the film, the image of the black hole was the closest depiction of a real black hole that we had to date when the film was released, because they had just gone into all the details and they're like, we're not going to release this with just use like the CGI kind of cop out. They're like, we're going to match it as close to reality as we can, as if this is something we could actually do. So it's just like an art piece, like the whole film.
It's a masterpiece. The amount of detail put in that movie was crazy. The more I read this book, I'm not even done with the book. I'm halfway through. It's like mind-boggling to read.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
So, well, I was gonna say, with all that? Are you guys like opening night, Oppenheimer? Are you guys like sitting? Like have you already?
Did
bought
you see my
tickets,
story
like,
today, Matthew?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
What was
literally
it?
put up like opening night for Oppenheimer. I said like the Town Crier podcast will be there if you guys want to join us. So
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna go like as like a
well,
group,
I mean,
like,
it's up
we're
to
trying
Josh
to.
if he's actually going to make the trip from Denver to Midlothian or Richmond, Virginia. We'll see.
We were saying that before. I'll get on the plane and people would be like, what are you heading to Richmond for? Well, Oppenheimer's coming out this weekend and I'm flying to see it in theaters.
You're like,
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah.
But, oh my
Yeah,
god,
we'll see.
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
It comes out
July
June?
23rd.
This month.
July.
July 23rd.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
dude, have you seen the cast of that movie though, Matthew?
So with a Christopher Nolan movie, I can only imagine he's picked the cream of the crop. But I know that obviously Cillian Murphy.
He
who
has
else is in the film?
outdone himself with this one.
Yeah.
I will just say that he has outdone himself.
Johnny Depp. No, not Johnny Depp.
No, let me just read it.
Robert Downey.
That's all.
Robert Downey Jr. Matt Damon. Rami Malek. Florence Pugh.
Insane. Wait, hold on. Check this out. Oh, Josh Peck is in it too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Josh
look at
Peck
this.
is in it.
Look at this freaking cast list: Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, David whatever. I don't know that guy.
Gary
Oldman, classic.
Yep.
Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett, Kenneth Branagh, Rami Malek, Alex Wolff. I mean, Alden. I can't say it. All these guys.
Oh, yeah. Dane DeHaan. He's a great actor. Wow. What a all-star lineup. He was like, how do I just do like the best?
So, Matt, I don't know if this is true, but I have heard like a theory that actors will actually lower their rate for Christopher Nolan films. That's why he's able to make such an all-star cast.
Probably so. I've heard of a lot of actors, like, I've heard of actors doing what's called, like, I don't know if the studios will do this anymore, but like instead of getting paid with like a check, you get points on like the end of a production, like kind of tied to how well the movie does.
Oh.
'Cause that's where a lot of the money is made for the most part. Tom Cruise is like, I think he's the highest paid actor,
Right.
but I don't think he's actually writing. I think he just gets paid a scale for his acting. He just has a producing
Yeah.
credit, and that's where all the money is.
Yeah, it's like Top Gun. Like it's
Uh,
exactly what he did for Top Gun, and he just made a
yeah,
killing out of that film. Like,
yeah, just insane amount. But yeah, I mean, I've heard of actors doing that. Obviously, I don't have the, I don't haven't been on a set and been like, oh, like one of them's told me. But from what I've heard, it sounds like that there are projects and people that they want to collaborate with that it's not about the money,
huh?
Especially when you get to those actors' status,
Right.
they have the projects. They can like they don't, they're choosing their projects, so they would want to work with someone like Christopher Nolan.
Who's
So
your favorite director by chance? I'm curious.
I'd love to. So I love all
Quentin
of
Tarantino? Oh,
Denis. I do I love
yeah.
Tarantino too, but I forgot I don't know. I need to learn how to pronounce this guy's last name. Denis Villeneuve. He's the director of Dune. He did
Oh,
Prisoners.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Dude, that guy's incredible.
He's yeah, Blade Runner. He's an incredible director, and so yeah, yeah. I think I would have to say right now Denis,
Wow.
Denis.
but
Do you know,
yeah.
did you know that
I,
Blade Runner 2049 is currently occurring on the East Coast right now?
Yeah.
oh yeah, you guys are like lit up with fires right now, right? Is that what
Do
you're
you know?
talking about?
Yes. Do you know what
Yeah.
happened? It's all Canada.
No,
The
I just saw a picture of New York
yes,
Yeah.
City.
that's what's happening right
Crazy.
now. It's gotten as far as Virginia down here. Like it's come from Canada. A forest fire
A
is all
forest
the way
fire?
down here. It's crazy. I can't even.
I've never heard.
I've never heard of this either. I can barely see the sun. It's crazy. like,
Yeah.
like.
So right now, you guys have like
Mhm.
smoke in
Well,
your
it's like
like.
it's like haze, but it's you. It's not like it's
Yeah,
probably smoke. I mean, it is smoke. I
Yeah.
guess I don't smell it, but it's like a lot of
yeah,
haze. It's crazy. Like it came all the way from
dude,
Canada.
that
I
is
mean, you remember,
wild.
dude? Like back in like I think 2018, or I remember when I was there
Yeah.
in
2018.
2021. Even 2021 in Happy Camp, like I remember it was like tons of haze, like almost all summer. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. I remember thinking we ought to film a movie because like it was like
Yeah.
every hour was like
Yeah,
apocalyptic
Yeah.
golden
yeah,
hour.
yeah,
That
yeah.
all
Yeah.
that smoke from the California fires made it to Colorado too. Same effect. Where I remember we walk outside and it would be like you'd like smell physical smoke, and it was all coming from California. It was crazy.
That's
Yeah.
insane. There was a ton of massive fires
Yeah.
that
There
Yeah,
were
day.
some wild photos taken out of like LA with all the fires close to LA, I think. There were some
Yeah, the
crazy,
Malibu.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know why it happened. It was because it was my mixtape, but it's whatever.
Drop the fire.
Yeah, the fire department had to come. My
Yeah,
mixtape took
apologies
off,
to all of New York City for Cameron's music.
but sorry.
Oh my word! So is in New York City? Is it the fire hasn't come down? It's just the smoke blowing down,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So
But it's like bad.
dude,
I
it's
think
crazy.
New York had one of the worst air qualities in the world for like a day or two from it. It's just they said
Wow.
breathing it in for 24 hours would be the equivalent of smoking like 12 cigarettes just being outside. So crazy.
Jeez, so much, so much
Yeah.
smoke. Yeah,
yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. So hey Matthew, I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit here, but I do want to also
Yeah.
give you the opportunity here. If you would like to share anything with our audience, you are free reign. Anything you'd like to share with them, or nothing. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always ask that at the end of these interviews or podcasts.
I would say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough question. I know.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if anything that I could encourage them based off of my story would be
Yeah.
to, how do I say this? Like, try. I don't know. Just try. Like, I think like there's something simple about that word
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
Actually try. What would it be like to actually try at life? What would that look like for you and you, whatever your specific circumstances are, to not just coast and to really put yourself out there and go after something that you aren't guaranteed, a triumphant victory on.
Yeah, that's good. Also, everybody go watch The Walk. Everyone go take a look at the film. And yeah, dude, thanks for coming on. This has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been really cool just to talk film, music.
I mean, dude,
movies,
honestly,
Oppenheimer.
man, like, if you want to come on another time, talk more movies, we'd love to have you. So-
Yeah, we do it every week.
Literally, I'm so down. I was like just sitting here. I was like, man, it's just cool to kind of like just talk. Like, just talk about movies, talk about music. It's fun.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I live for this stuff, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so we're How about you fly in for the premiere of Oppenheimer in
That's right,
Richmond,
that's
Virginia?
right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I mean, who knows? I'm not gonna say no. I'll be like, maybe this will happen. We'll see.
Oh, dude, I'm flying out I'm
yeah.
flying into Medford on the 21st. So
21st of
yes,
June.
sir.
Okay, and you're going to the ranch. That's right. You're going to
It's
the ranch.
happy camp time.
The guy,
It's happy camp time.
dude.
I have to. I have to
Dude,
say this to Josh and both of you guys.
Yeah.
But I have worn the Happy Camp hats for years on end after 2018, and you are the first person to actually meet anyone in my friend group that actually is aware of what Happy Camp California is. So. Anyway, I've gotten like crap over the years, like, oh, Happy Camp, oh, and then they would sing like songs like, oh, Happy Camp, Happy Camp, you wash my sins away or whatever. I've gotten so much flack for that freaking hat.
So that's so funny because those hats were like the coolest hats. When you're at JH Ranch, like the river guides have, and it's like, oh, you got a Happy Camp hat. Like I literally wore mine out. Like the snaps broke. The same thing.
Yep.
Like that is so funny. Yeah, dude. I saw a picture and I saw you wearing that hat. Were you with Joan? You like took a picture with Joan?
That was Fly by
Like,
Midnight. Fly by Midnight. Yeah.
I was like, dude, there's a Happy Camp hat. Fly by Midnight.
Heck
Yes.
I literally got that hat in 2021 at that gas station. They updated it a little bit, and they had like an all black one. I was like, yo, I need that.
Dude, that gas
It's
station.
ridiculous, dude.
Like, who makes those hats? Like, who is this? Who has the design? They're actually
Dude,
kind
it's
of
like an
sick.
insane artist, like some talented artist creating these hats and just selling them at one gas station in the U.S. Like, it's crazy.
Honestly, because like Happy Camp is like a drug mecca. It's like probably someone in their mind, like an artist, like making these sick hats, put them
Definitely.
there. They sell out every year.
Yeah, definitely in a meth house. I literally told Josh before this. He was like, he literally asked. He goes, "So is there a difference between like JH Ranch and Happy Camp?" I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Happy Camp is an actual town in the U.S. Crazy enough, I know, but it's a real place.
Right.
JH Ranch is the camp that goes to Happy Camp to raft. Anyway.
Yes.
I told him, I was
Right.
like, it's all
It's a
meth
whole-
houses, though. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like a little small rafting town, and apparently there was like a huge in the past, like massive, like they have a little airport there, and there was like a huge like federal drug bust because they were flying like all of these drugs out of Happy Camp.
Wild.
Classic. Anyway, hey, I really appreciate you getting on tonight, man. It's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Like, this
Yeah.
has been awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, thank you guys, and it's been cool to connect, Cameron, Josh. Great to meet you,
you
man.
too.
Yes,
Yeah.
And you guys, if you're ever in LA, please hit me up.
Yeah.
I will be. So,
For sure.
yeah. We're gonna hopefully make some good reels from this segment here. So, anyway, look out for those. We'll
Cool.
Maybe you'll blow up. You might become a viral reel. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We have one reel that just keeps going every day.
Yeah.
It's like in the solidified itself in the algorithm. It just keeps going. So
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah, we'll see.
serious? Is it just like one of those things that has like a tons of views, like compared to the
that's
other
what
ones?
it is. It's,
What do you guys say on that one?
It's a good question. It's
That's a
about
great question.
It's about Leonardo DiCaprio.
See, yeah,
We're making fun of his dating life and how he only dates under 25. So you can go watch
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
It's at like 50,000 views and like 18,000 likes. Whatever.
Yeah. And it just keeps going.
wow,
Yeah. So,
So
dude, that's
everyone
hilarious.
loves Leo. So
That's right.
So his ex-girlfriend is in the show Daisy Jones and the
oh,
Six.
no way.
This girl was on there, and I was like, man, she's just stunning. Like everything about her was just gorgeous. And I was like, where have I seen her before? I was like, oh, I've seen her on like headlines
Yeah,
of Leo's. She turned 25, and Leo was like,
Yep.
you're gone. So
The forbidden age. Yeah.
Does that
she aged up.
does that mean you're single?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, same.
If you're listening to this, Camilla, whoever or whatever your
Yeah.
name is, hey,
We'll
Yeah,
tag her in the reel for this. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh and I are single too,
Oh my
so
God.
we're on the move.
Yeah.
But
we're looking for three young ladies.
that's right. That's right.
Come
yeah,
to the
yeah.
Oppenheimer preview. We'll all be there. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, dude. Well,
Cool.
awesome.
Oh, man.
It's been great. So,
Yeah.
we'll keep up. I'm sure over whatever the months and everything. So I love hearing about your career, man. It's awesome. So it's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's if
Thanks,
anything,
brother.
it is very inspiring to just hear from you and like speak to all of this. Confirms a lot of stuff in my own life. So I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good, man. Glad it's been of use.
Cool.
So
All
All right, man.
Well, you take
See ya.
care. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
See ya.
See ya. Oh, he got it.
Yeah. It's the golden ticket. All right, text him. Make sure he keeps that browser open. Frick.
Oh yeah. Dude, I got like I don't know. I hit like a trance with that conversation. Like at one point, I just like forgot we were recording. And just,
Yeah, I did the same thing. Good call.
all right, guys.
All right.
Well, thank you for joining episode number 19.
18.
Yeah,
Legal.
18. We're legal now. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, Matthew, for coming on tonight. Appreciate it. Let us know.
Yeah, super fun episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow us over on Town Crier, as usual, on Instagram.
And we'll see you next week on the TCP episode number 19.
Nearing episode 20. Big milestone coming up. We'll catch you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.